Hello everyone. Matilda is this week up in Pretoria again as part of her training in spiritual direction, spiritual accompaniment. And with me on my own, we thought it might be good to have a more practical session. It ties into our conversation of last week where we spoke of your formal practice of meditation, contemplation, where you become silent and you become centered and focus on the presence of God, with whatever God is busy doing in you, and we let that unfold in whatever form that may take place, just to return to the present moment and be sure that there will be thoughts arising, announcing themselves, but just ever so gently come back to this space. Let them float by like clouds in the air. Don't get attached to any one of them. Nod in their direction and then come back to the present moment. And we'll have a quiet session, a meditation session of 10 minutes. As we said last week, often it is 20 minutes. You can have your own time. It's not a set rule. I find that 20 minutes works well for me. Matilda find that 30 minutes works best for her. You can decide on your own time. Today we're going to do it for 10 minutes, and it won't be a total quiet meditation. It will be more of a guided meditation. We know that there are a number of people not familiar with meditation, and it might be a new experience. So in order to help you get more comfortable with the meditation, it will be more in the form of a guided meditation, where I'll say something of what works for me, and also the sacred word. You can decide on any one-syllable word. A one-syllable word works best, and I find that the word Christ works for me. And then you use the one-syllable word whenever a thought arises or arrives. You just say the word like a windscreen wiper, sweeping the screen of the mind clear, cleaning it. And it might be that you repeat your word a multiple times, because the possibility is great that there will be a lot of thoughts arising. But don't become despondent. The returning to the present moment and to the silence, that is the actual practice. It's not about getting it right. It's about returning, returning, returning. That is the power of the meditation. And although I'm down here at the river, and you'll hear bird sounds in the background, it's beautiful here, but the setting as such is not the important thing. You are going to sit with your eyes closed, and you are just going to focus on your body on the chair, being present, not even the surroundings, these beautiful surroundings. We know that is the backdrop for everything taking place, but you're just going to sit quietly and constantly focusing on the breath. The breath is so important. We live so much of our lives not being aware of our breath. And it's so important. It's the very first thing we do when we are born. We take a deep breath. And it's the last thing we do when we die. We blow out our breath. We exhale for the last time. And in between we have thousands and thousands of breaths in and out without noticing it. And it's so important. We want to deepen the breathing, slow it down, because it calms us and it helps us to focus. And for this session I'm also going to use the Contemplative Outreach app that we've spoke about last time. We have set it for 10 minutes. So there's an initial gong, an entry gong, and then we'll have the 10-minute guided meditation, and at the end of that there will be a second gong that will indicate the end of our meditation. And at the end of the meditation, with the sound of the second gong, don't open your eyes immediately. Just stay in the moment, focus on your breath. Give yourself a few seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. There's no set rule. But gradually, like somebody coming up from underwater, until your head breaks through the surface. Gently rise to the surface and then open your eyes. You can use a prayer, or you can read a quote that means something deep to you, a text from the Bible, whatever works. Contemplative Outreach's app has a lot of texts to choose from, quotes. You can set it and decide for yourself. But in this case we're going to use our own prayer, almost a prayer of giving over to the moment. And after that we'll start the session with a gong. God, we want to rest in your presence. And slow down your breath and breathe in deeply. Hold it a little and exhale. And breathe in deeply. Hold it a little and exhale. And the thoughts will come, and the inner critic's voice will sound. Just nod gently in their direction, and then come to the space, return to the space. Focus on your breathing. what I find, what works for me, is to initially at the beginning of my meditation session, just to focus on my breathing, and on cycles of 10, I usually repeat about 3 cycles. On a cycle of 10, where you breathe in on the uneven numbers and exhale on the even numbers, I repeat a cycle about 3 times before I enter into the meditation session, or the part of the meditation session where I use my sacred word. So on 1 in, and 2 out. And 3 in, and 4 out. And 5 in, and 6 out. And 7 in, and 8 out. And 9 in, and 10 out. Do 2 more cycles, and whenever a thought arises, gently come back to the counting and the breathing. Constantly returning to the breathing. Constantly returning to the breathing. And when you do the centering prayer where you use the sacred word, your 1-syllable word, word like love, or God, or grace, or Christ, whatever the word is that you've chosen, whenever a thought arises, you just say the word that functions as the wiper cleaning the screen of our mind and bringing us back to the present moment. When a thought arises, you say the word. Thought arises, say the word. It doesn't matter how many times you have to repeat it. It's not a matter of getting it right, but returning. And keeping your breath deep and slow. Take your time on the sound of the gong. Keep your eyes closed and gently, in your own time, whenever you're ready, you can open it. That was a short practical session through which we hope it will give you some indication as to how such a meditation session can play out. But do experiment. I use the counting at the beginning of my meditation session almost as an introduction. You can enter right into it with a sacred word, or you can use visualization. That works best for Matilda. Whatever works for you, it's not set in stone. The main thing is to focus on your breathing and to return to the present moment. We would love to hear from you as to your own experiences, but thank you for this session and keep well until next week. Bye-bye.